Okay, I want to continue to discuss the previous video about our fundamental rights. First, let me just mention the quarantine issue, mainly as people come back, particularly that flight today. They're being isolated for some period of time, even without symptoms. We could see a lot more of that in the coming days in a variety of circumstances. Very concerned about that. When there seems to be, as a practical matter, practically no risk to the community, people could be enduring individually enormous losses that they're probably not insured for, enduring personal sacrifice at the expense of the community. That's what I talked about in the last video, sharing risks. I also wanted to note that to a lot of people, gun ownership is in being able to provide to protect their families. So they feel that's a lot about who they are as people, and that's being taken away from them. I wanted to make that point when you're talking about natural rights and the Second Amendment. So that brings me to the First Amendment, where speaking like I am now, saying what you believe for yourself and not speaking for someone else, for some party that's paying you, or being spoken for by somebody that you contribute to when you're not allowed to speak for yourself, needing somebody else to speak for you and protect you, which is very demeaning to at least my sense of identity. But that gets me to the same concept, the justification for the First Amendment and the operation of the First Amendment. Bert Neuborne has talked about that a lot in his book Madison's Music, and he feels that the speech, also the freedom from a state religion, the faith clauses, and then the assembly and petition clauses, they're all linked. The various different clauses of the First Amendment are all linked together. And so if you speak for yourself, there, in his opinion, there is, in terms of justifying the speech, there is an implicit assumption that you will work with others later to implement your views. And that means assembly and petition. That normally today means something like if you want to, well, it means something for journalists. Unless you're actually make a living as a journalist, it would suggest that if there's something wrong with just simply filming things for the sake of showing that you can and putting them up for people to see, to show that you're smart and know what's going on. If you don't actually believe what you're presenting to other people, a lot of people would feel they need people to join in, raising money for their causes, raising money for nonprofits, raising money for politicians or something before you're even allowed to have your own voice. Now that would be saying that the First Amendment has that the justification is part of the right, whereas the more libertarian position, which is what the Supreme Court has generally taken, is that the operation is what matters. And I think in the COPA, Child Online Protection Act, that's not the same as COPPA in 2007. I think that point came up. That's something that lawyers ought to go back and read. The judge in Philadelphia, the opinion he wrote. I was there at the trial for a while. So that's a very important idea to me.